What if you could make your favourite bits of outdoor gear last forever? Well, you can do. It's quite straightforward really. First thing we need to do is actually look after our gear, okay? Make sure we don't leave it behind, we don't lose it. We make sure it's kept clean. We make sure that it's serviced regularly. If you get little bits of damage to it, repair it. If it's a knife or a tool, make sure it's kept sharp and kept oiled. If there are screws that need tightening on it, make sure they stay nice and tight. All of these things we can do to extend the life of our gear, which nowadays nobody really wants us to do that, because big business says, well, you buy this year, next year I'll produce something else that's a little bit better, you'll throw that one away, you'll buy this one. But that's business. What I would rather do is find those bits of gear, choose them really, really well, look after them, maintain them and get a lifetime's use out of them. But with some items, that's not always going to be possible. One such item that I got years ago was one of these. This was a British Army Arctic smock. Superb piece of gear. I got mine second hand at a surplus store. It was a bit tatty. It was very, very lightweight, made out of gabardine cotton. It was windproof. It was baggy cut. The way it was cut, you had complete freedom of movement. It had a hood, it had big baggy pockets. It was brilliant, and I loved that old jacket. And I wore it to death, quite literally. It fell to pieces. It started to get holes in it which I could no longer repair. It was wearing thin on the elbows, it was ripped, it was torn, and I could no longer use it in the end. But what I did with it was I cut the zip out, I took all of the buttons off, I pulled the cords out, I stripped it right back until there was nothing on it. Then what I did was I got a penknife and I split all the seams, just carefully unpicking all of the thread, and then I took it and I laid it on an ironing board and I ironed all the pieces flat. What I did with those pieces once they were ironed flat was I laid them onto a sheet of lino, drew around them, cut them out, and what it gave me was a pattern. That way my jacket could live on, and this particular pattern I've used to make quite a few other jackets. In fact, this jacket that I'm wearing was made from the pattern from the original smock. This is my lightweight jacket. I also have my winter weight Ventile jacket that's got the big hood and it's got big pockets. It's all reinforced around the shoulders and the elbows, and again that was made from the pattern from my original jacket. Even my big blanket smock that I use in the winter, that's an overhead design, the actual basic pattern was simply from that original smock. All the bits that I took off it, the buttons, the zips, they've all been recycled into other jackets of mine, and that's what we should be doing. We should be making better use of our gear and all the component parts. So by taking my old smock to pieces and turning it into a pattern, I've reincarnated it several times, and now it's my big woolly winter jacket, it's my lightweight summer jacket. It does pretty much everything, and I probably will get a lifetime's use out of it. It's not only clothing we can do that with, it's other items too. If you can make a pattern out of it, then you can remake it. One such item is this. For those of you who watch my videos quite regularly, you know this is my old Bushcraft Monroe 35 day sack that I bought back in 1984. And I think I said back in that video, which was at least a year ago, that I was going to retire it. And I've had it so long, it's quite difficult to retire, to be honest. But it's getting to the end of its usable life. The zips are broken. It's got a big old tear in the side. The actual fabric on the back is now getting so thin that it's wearing through. Inside the pack, well, the Cordura started to delaminate, and I think this one genuinely has come to the end of its life, almost. Because what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to take this one to pieces. I've purchased some fabric. I'm going to take off as many fixtures and fittings as I can, so that hopefully the only thing I'm actually going to need to replace is the main fabric. Everything else I will reuse. So let's get on with it. So here it is. This is the finished pack. It's been finished a few weeks now. It didn't actually take very long to make. It did take quite a long time to take to pieces, and that's sort of a bit of a tribute to the quality of Bushcraft manufacturing, that it was so well put together even after 34 years of use, that it took me a while to take it all to pieces. While I was taking it to pieces, I actually learnt why it lasted for so long. It was incredibly well put together, and it really helped me when I came to put it back together again and rebuild it, because I picked up some of the tricks that Bushcraft had used while putting this thing together. All of the straps, buckles, I kept, including the padding in the shoulder straps, and indeed the shoulder straps, the padding and the aluminium frame from the back. everything I kept and reused. The only items I had to buy was some mesh for the outside pockets, 2 zips, one for the outside pocket and one to replace the damaged one that was in the lid, and the actual Cordura fabric itself. Everything else I managed to reuse. So these bits could be going on for years and years to come. So the actual features that I added, well, number one was this big pocket on the front, and it's a zipped pocket, and inside I can keep a set of waterproofs, my brew kit, my little stove, all stashed out of the way. The idea being, if it suddenly starts to pour with rain, I can stop, unzip this, take my waterproofs out, put them on, and the main contents of my rucksack doesn't get exposed to the rain, because everything I need is stashed in the outside here. I kept the ice axe loops, just moved them around slightly, because I still go hill walking in the winter, or I carry an ice axe, and obviously in the woods I could keep my tomahawk or my little hand axe stashed on the outside as well. I also put on these big dump pockets on the side, again made of mesh so that they drain well, and I've got my strap adjusters on the side so I can shrink the volume or stabilise the kit that's in these. Now these will take a water bottle, metal mug, saw, all manner of kit. They're a really good sized pocket. Turning it over, a couple of changes that I made. Number one, I've made it so I can access the frame and the pocket behind from the outside. I improved the padding in the back. I used the original padding and I added some extra padding too. I used this mesh, and on my original one the Cordura ended about there and then it was canvas all the way up to the top. And when I was running, or if I was walking in the summer when I just had a t-shirt on, that little ridge used to rub, so I've removed that completely. So now there's nothing to rub on my back at all. Kept the grab handle, kept the original shoulder straps, but one of the changes I made was the pocket in the lid, the zip used to face outwards, which I could never really understand, because when I throw my rucksack down I tend to put it down on the ground so that this bit is facing upwards. And I like to be able to get at that top pocket when it's resting on the ground, particularly if I'm sitting on it in the winter. If I'm stopping for a brew in the snow, I like to be able to put this down on the ground so I've got insulation from the ground, reach into the top pocket, grab my woolly hat or any other little bits and pieces that I need. So I changed that round and I've got forward facing zip. Put a little D-ring on there so that if I need to tie kit on that's going to be in the pocket, I can do so, but otherwise the lid is the same. Opening up the lid, something else a little bit different. Inside the top I put a little mesh pocket, and that's for putting stuff that I want to get to in a hurry, but also bits that need to be protected. And what I've got in here is my rucksack cover. So those are the features I've added, and I'm really pleased with the end result. It's been a really worthwhile project to do, especially if it extends the life of this original pack for another 34 years. It's probably going to outlive me. So there you go, that's the finished product, and I'd encourage anyone to have a go at a little project like this. It really is good fun to do. You get a good usable product out of it at the end, a really good piece of gear, and also what would happen to it otherwise. You throw it away, it either gets into landfill or it gets burnt, and none of those things are good for the environment. So do your bit for the planet, have a go at building your own, extend the life of kit that you've got for as long as you possibly can. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, remember, hit that like button, share it. We love people who share. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. If you want to get in touch, well, the email address will come up on the screen in just a bit. I've been Neil, and until next time, stay safe.